Welcome to this YouTube channel and to 2022. In this video, I'm going to look at the what-if analysis using data tables. What-if analysis using data tables. So what do I mean by this? That's what we are going to look at. In the meantime, if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe for more videos like this one. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all of you who are watching my videos. So let's get started and understand the what-if analysis. I have two examples, actually four, two dealing with one variable and two dealing with two variables. I'll explain what I mean. So I have a data set here which shows the quantity here for sales. This is the unit price, this is the unit cost. And if I get the quantity times the unit price, I get the sales. Then the quantity times the unit cost price, I get what it cost me. So if I get the difference between what I've sold, the value at which I've sold, minus the value at which it has cost me, I get the gross profit. Now, I remove the fixed costs, rent, and other admin costs, then I get the net profit. These two add up to 20,000 as my cost. My gross profit is 20, so 20 minus 20, we get 0 as the net profit. So if I change this to 5, you see my gross profit becomes 25, my net profit becomes 5. These are my fixed costs, they don't change with the change in quantity, so I get a profit of 5. So what do we want to achieve? What we want to achieve is, in our first example, is we want to vary the quantity. As we vary the quantity, we need to understand how the net profit is varying. Of course, the long route could be put in 5 here, record the net profit. Put in 4, record the net profit, and so on. But as an Excel pro, there are better ways of doing this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, if my profit is 4, if my quantity is 4, I want to know what my net profit is going to be. If my quantity is 5, what is my net profit? If my quantity is 6, what is my net profit? Then 8, then 10. As I told you, you can come and change 4 here, record the net profit there, change this to 5, record the net profit here. But I'm not going to use that because it is very inefficient. So the quick way of doing this is using the what-if analysis, and we are going to use the data tables. So we need to set up our table like this. Our quantities here. Then we have another column for net profit. And the first step we are going to do is we are going to pick this one, the net profit, and reference this cell to our net profits here, cell, like so. Then we put in the different quantities that we want to study. So in other words, when the quantity is 4, what is my net profit? When the quantity is 5, what's my net profit? And so on. So after we have done this, and leave this one empty, pick this, reference it to our net profit. After you have done that, highlight this here like I've done. Go to data. When you move to the right, you'll see here what if analysis. So this what if analysis will help us to analyze, and we are asking our question, what if our quantity is 4? What is the profit? What if our quantity is 5? What is the profit? So then click on that. We have scenario manager, we have goal seeker, and data table. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate data table, but in later videos, I'll show you how to use the goal seeker and the scenario manager. So you click on data table. Now, it displays a dialog here which says data table, row input cell, and column input cell. So we are using one variable. In other words, our variable, what is varying, is the quantity. And this quantity is in column form. So we shall use the column input cell. So we click on the column input cell, and the column input cell is quantity. So we go and reference. After clicking on this, we click on our quantity in our model here. Where is our quantity? Our quantity is 5. So we click on 5. And that is it. Remember, row input cell, our variable of input is in column form. So we can't use this one here. Our variable is in column form. Our input variable, the one that we are varying, is in column form. So since it is in column form, we are going to use the second cell. And we reference this cell to the quantity in our model here. That is B1. After we have done that, then we click OK. The moment we do that, our data table is filled here. So the first one, this is the original quantity. So it is telling us if the quantity, if the profit, we're going to get a profit of 5, the quantity will, if the quantity is 5, the profit is 5,000. This is the first one here. So if our quantity is 4, it is telling us our net profit will be 0, which we can check by changing our quantity to 4. Change it to 4. So you can see when the quantity is 4, our net profit is 0. Then if our quantity is 5, our net profit is 5,000. So our quantity is 5, net profit is 5,000. If our quantity is 6, our net profit will be 10,000. So if I come here and change this one to 6, you can see our net profit is 10,000. And so on. If our quantity is 10, our net profit will be 30,000. So this is how we are able to develop the different net profits are different by varying the quantities. Instead of using the long cut, the long process, we have used a shortcut which brings our answer. Now, we can also test, we can also want to know what will be our gross profit if the quantity is 4, what will be our gross profit if the quantity is 5, what will be our gross profit if the quantity is 6. Similarly, we come here, gross profit, where in our model is our gross profit cell. We link it first to our gross profit here. So after we have done that, we highlight this, come to data, what if analysis. Here again, now what we are varying is the quantity, and our quantity is in a column. You see, this is quantity is in the column form. So we cannot use this. This is row form. So we use the column because we want to, what we are varying is the quantity which is in column form. Now, where is our input cell in this model for our quantity? So you click on this, our quantity is in this cell. So you link it to that and say, okay. So when you do that, what Excel does actually behind the scenes is it goes and says quantity is 4, it puts it here, it gets the gross profit and puts there. So if we change this one to 4, you see the gross profit is 20. When the quantity is 4, the gross profit is 20. And the net profit is 0. You can see here 0. Now it is selling when the quantity is 5, our net profit is 5,000 and our gross profit is 25. We can test this by changing our quantity to 5. You can see our gross profit is 25, which is here. Our net profit is 5 when the quantity is 5, and so on. So this way, you can easily generate a table with varying quantities, and you get the varying net profits and the varying gross profits. Now that is one variable. The second example in the same, using the one variable that I'm going to show you is based on an example like a loan analysis. So what do I want to do? I want to determine my loan repayment. So there is a formula for determining my monthly loan repayment in Excel. It is PMT. So what does the PMT do? It determines it takes in the rate. My rate is this, divided by 12 to get the rate per month. My objective is to determine my monthly repayment for a loan of $80,000, which I'm going to repay over 360 months. Those I think are 10 years. And my interest rate is 9.5 per year. So to convert it to 12 months, I divide the interest rate by 12. So in Excel, we have a formula which can calculate the monthly repayment on a loan. If you give it an interest rate, and you give it the number of months and the loan that you are taking. So using the PMT, it takes the first variable or argument as interest rate. My annual interest rate is 9.5, so I divide by 12 to get the monthly interest rate. The period, the next is the number of periods. So the number of periods are 360. So I click there. The next argument is the present value of the loan. Present value of the loan is 80,000. I put that, I close my brackets. So it tells me my monthly loan repayment is 672.68, which 672.67. Now, I want to use what if analysis. And this what if analysis, I'll be asking myself, if I take the same loan for the same period, but this time I go and negotiate for an interest rate of 9%, what will my monthly repayment amount be? If I negotiate for 9.25%, what will my monthly repayment amount be? And if I negotiate for 9.5%, what will be my monthly repayment? So we are varying one variable, which is the interest rate, and we are keeping the number of months and the loan amount fixed. So how can we generate these monthly repayments? We can use the data table. So the first step is to arrange your data in this form. And in this here, you put the monthly repayment. So after you have done that, highlight this. Go to data, whatif analysis. Then my input, is it in row or it is in column? My inputs here are in column form. So I'll use this. Then I'll click on interest. These ones are keeping them constant. So it returns 0. I think I made a mistake. What I should do is my monthly repayments should be here. My rate is this one here. My periods are that, but the rate I have to divide it by 12. My repayment, my number of periods, 360. My present value of the loan is that. So after I've done that, I highlight this, go to data, whatif analysis, data tables, raw input. My inputs that I'm putting in this model is the interest rate, but it is in column form, so I can't use this one. If it was in raw form, I would use this, but since it is in column form, I have to use this cell, and I link it to my model. And since this is interest, I link it to my model of interest rate. So I click on interest rate and it gives me B3, my interest rate. Then I say, okay. So if I say okay, it populates. So what it is telling me is that if the interest rate is 9%, my repayment will be per month will be 643.7. If the interest rate increases, my monthly repayment also increases to 658.1. If it increases to 9.5, is 672. So using this information, I'm varying my interest rate and I'm getting my monthly repayment in one quick step. So this is using one variable, meaning that I'm varying only interest rate, but I'm keeping these two constant. So I've shown you two examples where I vary only one variable and keep two variables constant. Now, in the next part of my video, I'm going to look at the same examples again, but in these ones, I'm going to have two variables which are varying, and I study the result of one. So let's go here. Now, in this example, I'm going to vary the quantities and also vary the unit price, but what will be my net profit? In other words, I want Excel to tell me that if I keep all the others constant and I change my quantity, I sell 4 units at 9,000, what will be my net profit? Very important information for management to make such decisions. So if I keep it at 4, if I sell 4, but I vary my selling price to 10,000, what will my net profit be? If I keep selling 4 and I increase my price to 12, what will my net profit be? And so on, as you can see. So in my earlier example, I looked at only one variable which was changing, and then I got my net profit. But now in my next example, I'm varying two things. One is the quantity and the price, and I want to see how my profits, my net profit will behave. So I'll set up my table in this form, my selling price there, my quantities here. Then in this box, I'll put what I want to study. What I want to study is the net profit. So I'll say equals, then you go to my variable here and reference my net profit. So when I do that, Excel is going to put net profits for the varying quantities and unit price in this area here. So after I've done that, then the next is easy. I'll just highlight this, go to data, what if analysis, go to data table. Now, raw input cells. Now in this case, I have two variables. One of my variables is in the form of a row, that is the selling price here. This is a row. And my next variable is in the form of a column, which is in quantity. But what it wants me to do is to link my raw inputs, which is cells, into this model here. So I have to look for, since my input here is my rows, my selling price is in form of a row, so I'll come here and link it to the selling price in my model here. My model here, this is my selling price. So I'll click there and also click on the selling price. So I've linked my model to what I want to achieve here. So when you do that, actually what Excel does, it will go pick 9,000, put it here, and pick 4,000, put it there, get a result, populate here. To go pick 10,000 and a 4, enter them in these two variables, get a result, enter here. So then next is the column input cells. My input cells that are in the column are quantities here. This is a column, they're in the form of a column. So it wants me to link them to my model of quantities. Because these are quantities, I link them to quantities in the model. So I come and pick that. So it's a bit tricky here, but with continuous practice, you'll be able to get it. So you say, okay. Now when you say okay, it is populated. So it is telling me that if I sell 4 units at a price of 9,000, I'll get 0. Assuming all other factors are constant. And I can test that by changing my selling price to 9,000 and my units to 4, which is already here. If I do that, you can see my net profit is 0. So if my quantity is 4, my selling price is 9,000, I'll get 0. My quantity is 4 and my selling price is 10,000, I get 4,000. If I sell 4 units at 12,000, my net profit is 12,000. So you can use this to study your business and determine what price should I sell to achieve a certain profit. Now, let's look at another example, which will also make it clear. Now, in this example, in my first example, I varied only the interest rate. This is similar to my second example here, where I looked at the interest rate, the number of months, and the loan. And I was looking at what will my repayment be if interest rate is 9,000, if we keep these two constant. What will my payment be if my interest is 9.25 and I keep these ones constant? And we discovered that these will be the rates. Now, in this second example, I'm varying two. I'm varying the interest rate and I'm varying the period, but I'm keeping the loan amount constant. If you want, you can also vary the loan amount. But now my example here, I want to still get the same loan, but vary the interest rate and vary this and see what my repayment will be. So my repayment, you put it in this corner. Set up your table in this format. Then in this corner here, put your repayment. And I told you we use this Excel formula to calculate our repayments. It takes the rate by month. The number of months are this. And next is the present value of the loan, which is this. So what it is telling me is that if my loan is 80,000 for 10 years at the interest rate of this, I'll be required to pay this per month. So I'm using the what if analysis to find out that if my loan is this and my period is 120 months, what will be my monthly repayment? If my interest rate is 9 and my period is 180, what will be my monthly repayment? And so on. That's what I want to find out. So as I told you, highlight this, go to data, then what if analysis, data tables. So after you have done that, now in your model, where are your raw input cells? So in my model, okay, maybe let's start with the results here. So my input, my loan terms here are in a row. This is a row here. Okay? And my interest is in a column. So it is asking me raw input. The loan term is in the row, so I need to link this to the loan term in my input, which is this. So I click here and click there. Then next, in the column input, these ones are columns, and the interest rate is in a column form. But I need to link it to my model. This is my model here. So I link it to my model as interest rate. If you understand that, the rest is easy, click OK. So the moment you do that, it tells me that if my interest rate is this and I'm paying the loan in 120 months, keeping the loan amount constant, I'll need a monthly repayment of this. As you can see, the monthly repayment decreases as the number of months increases and the interest rate increases, as you can see here. So this is how you can use the what if analysis using the data tables to to keep one variable constant and study two varying variables. It has been a long video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have questions, put comments below. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and